They brag that they put cancer viruses in the polio vaccines. They admit they're eugenicists. Politically, how do you see this plan rolling out? And let me give you one little hint here or clue. I'm sure you're already on this. Back in January, we were saying they're going to launch some type of flu fear-mongering because we saw them getting ready with mass graves, telling emergency managers, get ready for millions dead, that it wasn't a question of if, but when it was going to happen this fall. We went on air and said, will it be bird flu? Will it be something else? We don't know. They're saying flu. They're training that militias are going to try to attack and steal the flu supply. This was going on in January, in February, in March, before all this happened. We know we've confirmed they've been running drills at colleges all over the country for the last 8-9 months, now accelerating for locking down colleges. And the first place they're doing forced quarantines is college dorms, kind of as a propaganda psyop to show people the image of people locked down in their homes. The UN admits they're running all of this under level 6. How do you see them trying to roll it out?
Well, that's a beautiful summary of the psychological operation and the genocidal agenda. And that's exactly what also would indicate to any reasonably intelligent person that they've planned this long ago, that they basically wanted to make this the profitable. This is the most profitable operation. Think about it. You've got FEMA operating. You've got the healthcare industry burgeoning. You've got the pharmaceuticals being sold, stockpiled, billions and billions of dollars. See, in essence, they don't even have to do anything anymore. They've already sold the stuff, but the problem is they have a depopulation agenda. They literally want to take out at least half, maybe 2/3 of the world's population. So this is the great travesty. It's total fascism. It is absolutely despicable. From my perspective, it has no semblance of being human. There's no empathy. There's no compassion. There's no love and sensitivity. And the future of our civilization, our humanity, is literally at stake, because when you loose these types of not just chemicals that go into the groundwater, everything from mercury and all the toxic waste, the antibiotics. I mean, when you take anything, when you take a vaccine, the mercury, you got to ultimately, if you're going to get rid of it, you're going to pee it out. If you're going to take an antibiotic, what goes in comes down and goes out into the groundwater. We are water. 80% of our bodies is water. The groundwater that we drink. This has been on the news too. So that these people are not like doing humanity or this planet a favor.
And that's why they make the joke in Dr. Strangelove saying you're General Jack T. Ripper, i.e. Curtis LeMay, wanting to nuke the world if you're worried about your precious bodily fluids, because the establishment is obsessed with putting toxins and poisons into us, so we're psychologically, spiritually clouded and drugged. That's pharmakia. We have these sorcerers of the New World Order getting us drunk on their poison, just like they'd get people drunk before they cut their hearts out in Chichen Itza at the Aztec pyramids. Now, Dr. Horowitz, you just said something, and I want to go back over and have you expand on it. And that's so it looks like we're concurring. They've already won, to a certain extent, fear-mongering, bringing more federal control in worldwide, expanding government control, testing federalization, having excuses to talk about 400,000 troops on the streets, NORTHCOM, as a beta test for future bioweapons releases, and then the organizing of carrying out that event. But we need to get the word out so they don't go hot with this flu and really wipe out a bunch of people. Now, will the soft kill weapons be in the flu vaccine, or are they going to release something else and say that's the swine flu? If they go really hot with this, how do you see it unfolding? How bad do you think this flu is going to be?
Well, if they went really hot with it, and it is a high likelihood, because they're going to have to, not have a rerun of 1976. So basically, there's a good possibility that aerosolized weaponry will be activated. You may have the black helicopters that come around, starts to spray, and basically populations in, let's say, Los Angeles are highly at risk for this kind of thing. Around, interestingly enough, the end of October, early November, if they play out the whole plan that they have the capability of doing, that's what they'll end up doing. They'll be spraying the population, and then they will initiate the outbreaks that they're going to decree are horrific, and then the mainstream media, and that's really all they need in order to, in every state of the nation, persuade people to adopt the Model State Emergency Health Powers Act. At the end of that now, you've got everybody incarcerated in FEMA camps, most profitable, most population controlling, and most devastating.
But I always see them doing it in phases. This is maybe in 5, 6 different phases. We're into phase 3 now, where they want to beta test, kill 20, 30, 40,000, 100,000, scare everybody, get everybody trained to do what they're told in the next phase when they kill 20 million. And then after that, the super mega death phase, where they kill the majority of the world's population, as the White House science chief has basically sworn to do.
That's exactly the way I see it, too, from the psychological operation. Basically, you know, how you boil a frog is, you know, slowly. And that's what they're doing here. And it's exactly what, you started with SARS. You saw SARS as a complete psychological operation to get the world to understand that the World Health Organization and the Rockefeller family were going to be controlling all of the emergency response and the biopreparedness. And so this is now, you know, a few years later, they have advanced the exact agenda you're talking about, and now people are prepared. They're prepared for even the event that I've been talking about as potentially the hottest one. That's how, in answer to your question, how the worst-case scenario could be played out. I would be looking at October or November, end of October, early November, for somebody to lose something from some lab, and ultimately that would then create a large media blitz and a lot of hospitalizations, and that is going to cause the Model State Emergency Health Powers Act to kick in, and then the mandatory vaccinations, the mandatory quarantines. Even though Barack Obama has said it's going to be voluntary, how many presidents can you trust?
He always lies. If he came out and said it's going to be mandatory, then I would think it wouldn't be mandatory. He always lies. He always breaks his promises. And under level 6, under the WHO, they say they can force inoculate now. They've got the states all passing the laws to force inoculate. That's in the news. So he has his surrogates out saying it's going to be mandatory. Then he plays the part of the conciliator. He's going to make you feel good. He's going to pat you on the back on the conciliary. He's going to tell you everything's okay. And notice he wants to address the kids starting next week. Every week, the kids will be brought into jumbo screens, and he's enlisting them to aid him. And Rahm Emanuel saying a domestic force, paramilitary. Van Jones is saying that they're going to use the green jobs to take over the entire economy. And then Media Matters comes out and says, I'm a liar. There's no plan for compulsory service. This is classic tyranny. Your comments on that, Dr. Horowitz?
Yeah, Alex, you're absolutely right. You know, if evidence for what you're saying is very clear, go to fluscam.com. It's the definitive website on this whole matter, fluscam.com. They're one of many documents, including a PDF file from the World Health Organization, actually laying out the agenda of exactly what you've just talked about, how they encourage all of this biopreparedness, this Model State Emergency Health Powers Act functioning, and ultimately they intimate that this is where we will have to go as this now pandemic expands into tyranny.
And this is the cover to get the unpopular eugenics healthcare passed. This is the cover to get the whole bioethics system passed. This is the cover to get the Clean Water Restoration Act, total federalization of above and below ground water. Basically, the entire United States has water under it. This is the cover to pass the anti-gun bills, the anti-free speech bills that openly say you have no more free speech. This is the cover to pass the Cybersecurity Act, where, quote, the president can kill the internet to save the internet. This is the cover for people to not worry about him expanding the war in Afghanistan and Pakistan they just announced. I see this, and now Congressman Brown, Paul, and even Army, former Republican leader, has come out and said that. So when you hear mainline Republicans like Brown and Army saying this is a cover for martial law, you better know it's serious. Your comments on that, Dr. Horowitz?
Yes, and one additional thing that it's a cover for, taking out people's access to the botanicals and the herbs and the natural healing remedies. They completely, hideously, gross, criminal, negligent That's what they are doing with this whole concept that you've got to get vaccinated and intoxicated in order to defend yourself against the swine flu. There are so many wonderful natural healing methods that they should be telling people about, but because it's a drug cartel influenced agenda, essentially you've got no mention. That is killing people. That is gross criminal negligence in and of itself, and it goes along with the Codex Alimentarius legislation, where, again, fist of fascism, strangling people, that's what they're about.